Welcome to the Dark Alliance. I am Darth Meow. First and foremost, let us give honor and thanks to our Lord and Savior, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Oh my honey, ha ma 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 ha, oh yeah 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 yeah. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to ET Contact. I am Sway. Yes. Well, I hope you like that little mini skit Dark Alliance thing I did earlier. That I you know put before. Anyway, I apologize if you hear the noise in the background. That's just my fan as well, and I have people messaging me, so I'm like going back and forth on some things. Okay. 1 second. Okay. Wow. Part of, and I apologize, and I wish that. Now, imagine if this was a live feed. If this was a live feed, and I'm constantly getting messages and all that, and I gotta, it would be the same way. Instead of stopping the video, because as I'm recording, instead of stopping the video and instead of like editing and starting all over again, I'm just gonna go with the flow because, truth be told, I have to move on. I have to push forward. Along with what I do with video production and my SKITS channel, which I talked about in the last video. And also in what I do within my ministry stuff, my religious duties and all that, and counseling and all, I'm constantly getting messages. So sometimes I am trying to do something, whether I'm doing it for my own production stuff with the Hostway Skits, or a video here for ET Contact, or working on a project for clients or what have you. I'm constantly having interruptions, and instead of having to just stop while I'm doing this, I'm just gonna keep going forward, look at the messages, respond when I can, and all right. So again, I hope you like the Dark Alliance skit thing. Like I said in the last video, I don't mind poking fun at myself and all of that. Today's video actually does concern a lot of the things that we've been hearing from certain big names concerning the Dark Alliance. Okay. And one of the things that they talked about, that they do talk about, um, and here's the thing about these big names that everybody knows what I'm talking about. If you don't, I mentioned one in another video. But here's the thing: I can't agree with certain things they say. There's a lot of things that they've said that I can agree with. It's not that I don't disagree with everything or whatever. I do agree with many things that they say, and it's more or less I don't agree with certain things that they do. But concerning, every day on Facebook. Every day on Facebook, sorry. Every day on Facebook, I go to my Facebook, and for over the past 2 or 3 months, maybe 5 months max or something, every day is like 5 to 10 brand new Amber Alerts. Now, if you're watching from another country, I don't know how far these videos are gonna get, but today is February 11th of 2020, Tuesday, February 11th of 2020, or Tuesday, the 11th of February of 2020. How about that for our European friends and across the board? It is 2:48 p.m. Okay. Now, over the past few months, it's been almost like every time I go on Facebook, I'm seeing 10 children uh, reported missing. There's the Amber Alerts here in the United States, the Amber Alerts, and where they that if children go missing, that's how we alert the states and all across the nation, the different cities and towns. Mind you, over the past 2, 3 years, I have seen an increase in missing children, missing people in general, but especially missing children. Uh, and It just seems to keep increasing, especially over the past year to several months. And it's really disturbing. It's really disturbing. It's really disturbing. And I share the information as much as I can, and I'm praying and I'm hoping and sending positive light and energy over so that these children can be found. Unfortunately, in certain circumstances, some of the children are found dead, and it is terrible. As a parent myself, as a father myself, I know if something horrendous were to happen, uh, as a parent, I don't know how I would be able to handle that. As a dad, as a father, I don't know how I would be able to handle all of that. I am trying to have a sensitivity to all of this, and it's not hard. Not just as a human being, but as a father myself. I'll be honest, I don't know how I would be able to handle that. Now, why am I talking about that here in ET Contact and kind of poking fun at the Dark Alliance thing and all that? Well, over the past several years, within these big names who created the name Dark Alliance, they have been talking about uh, the child sex slave trade, and they've been talking about supposed families and organizations involved in it here in the United States as well as abroad. And I've been paying attention to all of that. I have been paying attention. Now, here's the thing: is that even before these big names have been talking about it, I've heard a lot of the same things. I've heard a lot of the same things from other people, and again, this is even before the internet. I've been hearing a lot of the same conspiracies and stuff like that. And within my own research, and here's one thing about me. I trained as a journalist. Uh, I studied TV production, video production, audio production, graphics, this, that, the other. But I trained as a journalist on how to ask questions and be sensitive and keep confidentiality, that confidentiality between myself and another person. And I don't consider myself a journalist. Give me one second. Okay, so mind you, it's not the first time I've heard of this stuff. It's not the first time probably any of us in this community has heard of it. Again, like I was saying, I trained as a journalist. I trained as a journalist. And if I wanted to take a journalistic approach to everything, and yeah, I can do that. This is more of a vlog, my opinion, and I'm not gonna do a journalistic approach or whatever. This is just my opinion, my thoughts on this. For this, um, I can agree to from the information I found out on my own, even before any of this, even before internet and all that. I can agree to a lot of what they're saying, that there must be something, and I'm not even talking about all cases of child abduction or whatever. Um, I can agree that there, in a lot of cases of child abductions and whatever, that yeah, it must be a couple of groups. I can agree to it. I'm not saying it's 100% true or not. I'll be honest with you. I'm not gonna say it is 100% true or not, but I can agree to it based on information on certain things. And I'm not talking about the information they're posting. They're saying more on my own fact finding information, and I can agree to it to a degree where I can say there must be some kind of group doing something somewhere. Now, I'm not saying it's for all abductions and everything like that, but you know, for example, a lot of children get abducted when they're crossing over from Mexico to the U.S. on the border. A lot of children, they can get abducted by the coyotes, and they are sold into the sex slave trade and all that. And the coyotes, they're either independent or they work for some kind of cartel or whatever, and however that system works. That's one group. Um, it, okay, me. One of the things I watch is it's called Caso Cerrado, Case Closed. It is a Spanish court show. They record it and film in Florida, not Mexico. Some people say, "Oh, no, it's not Mexico. It's in Florida." They film it in Florida. Uh, the judge Ana Maria Polo. Um, I, I would say she's the Judge Judy, Judge Marilyn. Judge Marilyn from People's Court. How she's already Hispanic. But I'm saying, but like the Judge Judy, Judge Marilyn, like mixed together because she will pounce. But in one instant, and this was recently too. This was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. A mother sold her child over to what happened was that the father was in prison, not his fault, and I believe it, and he has proof. Um, but he took blame, and while he was in prison, the mother sold her children, her daughters, to these people that said, "Oh, all they have to do is go to birthday parties and like be friends." No, she sold them to the sex slave trade. Um, and yes, I understand when it comes to court TV shows and so a lot of things are entertainment based, what have you, but they are real cases. Uh, I believe it's called litigation. And if anybody who's watching this video, if you know anything about law, you can have you have a more clear understanding. Comment below. But I believe it's called litigation, and pretty much it's not a judge per se, like like criminal courts or criminal court or civil court, but more it's just it's oh no, it's binding arbitration, I believe is what it's called. I think that's what it's called. Litigation. I forgot what that word. Litigation is. I apologize, but it's a binding arbitration, in where two people talk to an attorney or whatever, and whatever that attorney decides, that's is legal, is binding. It has to be done. So it comes to find out that this mother sold her children to people in South America, and she's like, "Oh no, they're doing no. You sold them to a sex slave trade." Okay. Now, this happens a lot. This happens a lot. This happens a lot, especially in a lot of the Latin American, and even to and many other countries, whether it's you know India, China, countries in Africa. It's happening all over, where parents will sell their children. But anyway, as as I'm hearing these names talk about what's going on from their point of view, their perspective, and what have you, I can't, like I said, I can agree to some things, because there's been proven fact, uh, basically, especially on the mainstream media. I personally don't trust mainstream media like that, but there has been proof on through mainstream media where there are groups that are kidnapping children, whether it's here in the States or, and now, am I saying that, are they all interconnected? No, I'm not saying that. These names, they're saying that they're all interconnected with I'm not saying that they are. I'm not saying that they're not, because I honestly do not know. So I'm not going to make a comment on that. But I will say that, yes, there are groups that they will kidnap children. Now here's the thing. With everything that's been going on recently, especially, I want to say especially over the past year, if anything, that there's been an increase in children abductions. There's been an increase in children abductions. Some have been found dead, and so on and so forth. And as a parent, I tell you, as a father, as a dad, I wouldn't know how I would be able to handle that. So I can honestly feel for these parents. I can honestly feel for these parents. And what does that have to do with DT contact and whatever? And in the last video, what did I say? Part of my journey is to make a heart-to-heart connection with people and finding out the truth. A parent can easily make a heart-to-heart connection to another parent. Well, with most. Some parents, not really. But for the most part, a parent can easily make a heart-to-heart connection with another parent, whether it's a parent here in the States, a parent in the UK, a parent in Australia, a parent in China, or a parent in one of the countries in Africa. A parent can make a heart-to-heart connection with another parent. And whatever's going on in this world, whatever's going on here in the U.S., I'm just going to say the U.S., whatever's going on in the U.S., there's some weird negative energy that is going on here in the United States of America, where all of a sudden these children, these precious children, are being kidnapped. They're being abducted. They're being killed. There's some kind of weird negative energy. And whether you're a parent or not, just as a human being, you, we have a natural instinct of caring when we hear that another child has been kidnapped. We have a natural instinct of being upset and angry when we find out that another despicable person has taken another child. Now, again, is all of this connected? According to these big names, they say it is connected to these families, this, that, the other. I say I don't know. I can't say yes, I can't say no. But there is something strange going on, where all of these children are being taken and abducted on a daily basis. And as a human being, whether you're a parent or not, and I'm not even talking about a parent whether you help create the child. No, a parent is not a parent is not always the person who created the child. A parent is the one that takes care of the child, that loves the child. How many parents are out there that they've never created a child, but they love the child that they adopted and took into their lives? So whether you're a parent or not, you're just a human being. We have this natural instinct of caring and loving and being protective and being upset that these children are being taken, being abused, being molested, being all sorts of horrors that should never happen to a child. Now, in the skit that I did earlier, where I say, Lord and Savior Hillary Rodham Clinton, she's one of the people that has been named as being part of this Dark Alliance. Okay. There's a lot of speculation and rumors from the names on what's been going on with this Dark Alliance. Now, here's what I have to say about that. Whether or not this Dark Alliance actually exists, as far as to the extent of the narration that has been given to us by these names, it doesn't matter. What does need to happen, and this is one thing that I have agreed with these names, and what does need to happen is that something needs to be done to stop these terrible things from happening. The children pedophilia stuff, the kidnappings, all of that. Something does need to be done. And that's something I can agree with these names that use the term Dark Alliance. So, as a fellow human being, as a parent, okay, as a father, as a dad, as a parent, as a human being, as a love and caring soul, if there's anything I can do to put a stop to it, whether it is spreading information, like when I see on Facebook, hey, this child's been taken, da da da, and I share it and all of that, or if it is when I take time to pray and meditate, sending love and light energy and praying for the protection of these children, or any little thing that I can do. If I see if I'm walking my dogs, and I notice there's a child that I saw from a missing poster right there looking for mommy and daddy, they ran away or something, and I can call the police and take action of making sure this child is, whatever it is that I have to do, I will do. I think we all have to take an active role in producing the change that we want to see. Not just prayer and meditation, not just prayer and meditation. I mean, yes, that is important. You know, prayer, meditation, sending love and light and positive vibes. Okay, and I know, and if you disagree with me, cool. If you don't disagree with me, you do agree with me, cool. I'm just saying how I feel. We have to take a more in a physical active role. Whether, you know, and yes, it starts from the inside of prayer and meditation, sending love and light and praying for protection and so on and so forth. But if you're on Facebook and you're seeing another missing child poster, it doesn't take all day just to hit the share button and share it everywhere. And if you're in a Facebook group, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 500, share it to all the Facebook group. Doesn't matter what the group is about, just share it with that group. If you see something wrong, if you're at the local store, you're at the local store and you're seeing that there's some weirdo following a child around, okay? And you know that it's nothing good is going to happen from it, that this person is going to try to kidnap this child. You have a responsibility as a human being, as a person, to put a stop to that. Whether it is through calling the store manager and security, you physically getting in there, blocking this person, whatever way you feel is necessary. Sometimes, yes, you have to physically get involved and stop a weirdo from hurting a child. You see, one of the things that I've realized throughout the years, you know, from my life in ministry, from, you know, everything that I've gone through in my own personal experiences, is that sometimes prayer is not enough. Because if there is something that we can do, we should do. An example. If you're praying and you're like, oh, I want to send love and light to the people that are hungry. Okay, that's great. But if you're walking down the street and you see somebody, and I'm not talking about a panhandler looking for booze money, I'm talking about a person who is really hungry, and you're able to give them something, whether it's, whether you buy it from a restaurant, or if, you decide one day just make a bunch of sandwiches, and if you're able to do that, do that. We all need to take responsibility. See, here's how I see it, is that we all need to take personal responsibilities to help each other. Whether it's in a small way or in a big way. One of the things that ticks me off is that some people, for the sake of not getting their hands dirty and not actually doing something, oh, love and prayers, love and prayers, love and prayers, love and prayers. No, do something. If you got a friend that is crying because something has happened to them, instead of saying, "Oh, love and prayers," be that ear that they can talk to, that they can vent to. Just be there for them. Whether you know them real well or not, I think it doesn't hurt to be nice. Um, but especially with this stuff with the children, we all need to take more of an active role. People want to bitch and complain about politics, yet they don't vote. Or they bitch and complain about politics, they might vote, but they don't do anything to spread information about or finding out other candidates, because they want to stay in the bubble of Democrats, Republicans. But what about another candidate? Yeah, when it comes to running for president, it's gonna, until a big change happens, it's gonna be a two-party system. But one of the things I've always believed is that if we start in the local, if you get involved within your local community, voting for the mayor of your town or mayor of your city, going into the governor of your state, the senators of your state, other representatives that represent the different towns and counties of your state, if you get involved with that, and on the local level, it can make an impact on the national level. Think for yourself. Don't let people think for you. We must all take some form of action to be the change that we want to see. And if we do it with the greatest intentions of love and light, nothing can stop us. And if that and if that makes us part of the Dark Alliance, if that makes me part of the Dark Alliance, because I'm not a sheeple to these big names in the ufology community, or these big names in the religious community, or due to these big names in politics and what have you, if that makes me part of the Dark Alliance, then I'm part of the Dark Alliance. Because I like to think for myself. I don't like letting nobody think for me. Now, for some reason, this video did not go as I originally planned. I was gonna do a whole big thing, but sometimes, you get into a frame of mind and a mindset where different things come through, and I'm gonna have to start writing things down so I can keep on track of what everything was gonna be. But uh, hopefully this video can at least start a discussion based on mutual understanding, based on love and respect for another human being. So until next time, and I promise next time I'll have things written down. I'll even show you on camera. So until next time, I'm Sway. Love you all. Peace.